Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Simon, bringing you more Magic the Gathering lore packed down into bite-sized morsels that I like to call TLDR MTG. In this video, we'll be going back, and I mean way back, to a time when Wizards of the Coast didn't really understand the lore. This is what many consider the prehistory of the multiverse, the history before history was even a subject. A time when chaos and instability ruled as king, and elder dragons filled the skies. This is the too long didn't read of the Elder Dragons. Now, when I say this story dates back to before recorded history in MTG, I mean it. This was a time when literally dragons and only dragons ruled the entire multiverse. Crazy to think, right? Multiple worlds that are basically like current day Tarkir. But you have to remember, these aren't just normal dragons we're talking about. Oh no, these were Elder Dragons. A race so unfathomably powerful, ancient, and mystical that they span the whole multiverse, casting a shadow over each world, including Dominaria, the apex of the multiverse. So of course, when you get a bunch of egotistical, hot-headed flying lizards in one place, you're bound to have a minor power struggle or two, or three, or, an entire war. For all their vast knowledge and power, dragons are, at their base, kinda greedy. And with so much influence up for grabs across the multiverse, well, Dominaria was set up for a scaly battle royale. This epic dragon melee would be known as the Elder Dragon Wars. The pit fight lasted what was said to be centuries, but eventually the entire species virtually killed itself off. Only the strongest of the strong managed to survive the war, with a vast majority being killed or stripped of their powers. Those on the losing end had their wings ripped off, and they became the Elder Worms, the ancestors to every worm on every plane across the multiverse. So if you hate seeing 6/4 worms for 6 mana, well, you have the Elder Dragon Wars to blame. Now, the handful of winners who actually came out on top of this dog pile, or shall I say dragon pile, went on to spawn their own lineage throughout the multiverse. The Elder Dragons are responsible for every Lesser Dragon, Drake, and Viashino seen on each plane. And let me tell you guys, the surviving Elder Dragons must have put some work in to create these races because boy howdy, there weren't that many left. In fact, at the end of it all, only 5 Elder Dragons remained, and wouldn't you know it, they were all basically related. Ah, Magic the Gathering logic. At times, very gross. Well, I hope you guys have your cringe phones in, because these names are actually the text version of jigsaw puzzles. So, bear with me. Here we go. Okay, first we have Vaevictis Asmadi. This gray dragon was actually the cousin to the other 4 remaining Elder Dragons, but it's not like they shared any special relationship with one another. While on Dominaria, they basically stayed clear of each other, fearing another power struggle that would result in their extinction. And that fear was well warranted. Asmadi eventually ran afoul of a planeswalker named Farrellin, who used magic to transform the Elder Dragon into a pint-sized whelpling, losing a majority of his powers in the process. But being a former Elder Dragon, he still retained the graceful art of manipulating mortals, which he used in order to regain his former glory, only to be killed off by one of his cousins in a duel. 1 down, 4 to go. Next we have Palladia-Mors, one of the more destructive survivors of the Elder Dragon Wars, the kind of dragon you hoped would have, died with the rest of them. She was the sister to the other Elder Dragons, cousin to Asmadi, but completely uncontrollable. Her anger and destructive fury was the point of many legends across Dominaria, although none had seen her for several generations, and she faded into myth. In reality though, Palladia-Mors laid trapped and dormant under some trickery spell which made her sleep, causing her to become buried under a ridge which shared her name. Ham, the wizard who trapped her, had gone missing, and no one really believed the tales anymore. That was until a man unearthed the sleeping dragon and broke the curse. This man followed the directions of his whelpling familiar, you guessed it, the Elder Dragon Asmadi. Once freed, Palladia used her magic to free Asmadi from his pathetic form, and together they took flight against the mortals. Palladia was only stopped when again, the mysterious Ham, ridiculous name, came forth to cast the trickery spell returning her to her slumber. That's 2. Lucky dragon number 3 is Arcades Sabboth. Probably the most mysterious of all the 5 Elder Dragons, but not purposely so. There just wasn't a lot written about him. We know he's the brother and cousin to the other Elder Dragons, but that's almost about it. One thing we do know is that Sabboth is probably dead, and was most likely killed by the planeswalker Christina of the Woods. Apparently, Christina was forced into a duel against the evil planeswalker Lezric, who summoned a powerful Elder Dragon to fight his opponent, but Christina managed to overcome this foe and slay the beast. Thus is all we have on Arcades Sabboth. Next! Okay, dragon number 4, probably the most metal thing you can think of, Chromium Rhuell. A dragon literally plated in metal. So I know this is probably a point of contention, but I'm not sure if this is literally an artifact dragon or just one coated in metal scales. Its card doesn't say it's an artifact, and it is the relative of the other dragons, so despite its clockwork appearance, I'm saying this is probably the real deal here. Now, out of all the Elder Dragons, Chromium was probably the only one you'd classify as nice. It was he who posed as the mysterious Ham who cast the trickery spell on his destructive sister Palladia, all in order to save the mortals. He who convinced Asmadi to turn on Palladia, resulting in his death. He who tried in vain to stop violence from erupting between planeswalkers on Dominaria, paying the ultimate price for his benevolence. But don't cry for him, guys. His body would later be transformed into what was known as the Planar Bridge, an airship that could travel through the blind eternities. Badass even in death. And that leaves us with just one. He's the biggest baddie of all MTG, the dragon who's got his claws in almost every plot and scheme in the multiverse, the original menace with just awful art, the all-powerful Nicol Bolas. Arguably the strongest of the remaining Elder Dragons, Nicol Bolas was the only one to become a true planeswalker. While the others could travel through the blind eternities, none possessed the power innate to planeswalkers save for Nicol Bolas himself. Now, not much is known about his early years as a survivor of the Elder Dragon Wars, only that he stayed clear of competition and feasted upon a powerful demon Leviathan, which was also somehow a planeswalker. Look, this old lore is a little all over the place, I know. So while staying low, his siblings and cousin offed one another, and he would eventually stand as the last of the Elder Dragons, a title befitting his ego. With how many plots he's currently a part of at any given moment, who's to say he didn't orchestrate the events which would lead him to be the last one standing? Who knows, but I wouldn't put it past Nicol Bolas. Bolas has said numerous times that he's the final Elder Dragon, but come on, I wouldn't take his word at face value. He is the Master Deceiver after all. Besides, we've seen Elder Dragons reappear in MTG like the Dragon Lords and Dragons of Tarkir. They're Elder Dragons, right? Well, technically speaking, yes, but they don't have the same power and status as the original Elder Dragons. They use the term Elder to describe their age. Since they're basically immortal, a dragon who lives to a certain point is crowned as an Elder and is given power, thus the rise of the Elder Dragons on Tarkir. Under that assumption, other dragons like Niv Mizzet on Ravnica are also Elders without officially having that creature type. So in modern day MTG, when you see an Elder Dragon, unless you're talking about Bolas, it just means it's an old dragon. MTG probably won't ever revisit the unbridled power that was the original Elder Dragons. They literally bent reality and shaped worlds. What we see now was made by their will. This is also what makes Nicol Bolas such a great threat. Not only is he a planeswalker of significant magical prowess and experience, but by simply being an Elder Dragon, he's essentially one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. Only time will tell how or if he can ever be dealt with. And that basically sums up the Elder Dragons and the Elder Dragon War of prehistory MTG. If you enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, go ahead and hit that like button, share with friends, and subscribe for all the latest MTG news and lore. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.